January 6th, 2022. It is a Thursday. Um, and we're at the anniversary of the terrorist attack of the Capitol and coup attempt by the former president of the United States. And I think it's really important to distinguish that we're two separate things that were happening on January 6th, 2021. Both of them led by former President, what does Sonny Hostin call him? The disgraced, twice impeached former President Trump. One is they call it an insurrection. I know because I know it's a terrorist attack. It was a terrorist attack on the Capitol by domestic terrorists. That's what it was. And that was led by and at the encouragement of Trump. That's one thing. And that whole, the people that perpetrated that actually acted on it, are starting to get justice served to them. But what we're not doing yet is actually serving justice to the people who planned it and financed it and encouraged it. And I don't care what Merrick Garland said the other day. It doesn't look like he's acting on any of that activity. As a matter of fact, there was an indictment against a Capitol police officer who told one of the rioters to take their stuff off of Facebook. So we're prosecuting that Capitol police officer, but we're not going after the people who financed, organized, and encouraged the behavior. I don't trust Merrick Garland anymore. I think he's the wrong choice for Attorney General. If he's too afraid to actually go after, the former president, because that's a precedent he doesn't want to set, then he's not the right person for the job, because we need someone who's willing to set a precedent that president can't happen again. That type of president can't happen again. So he's disappointing. So there's the whole terrorist attack section of January 6th that gets the most attention. The other part is the actual coup attempt on behalf of President Trump by having a plan to decertify the election, or to not certify the election results. And his aide, what's his name? Peter Navarro went on MSNBC earlier this week and actually detailed out the plan. He used very specific hand movements, and it was very interesting how he had this thing in his head. It was like a military operation in his head that he was directing on his hand. And he said the plan. We had 100 Congress people, senators and representatives. He named Cruz and Paul Gosar. So let's find out who the other 98 were. The 100 representatives who were planning to, go against the election results in the 6 key battle states. The idea being that would throw enough of that certification that that it would go back to the House of Representatives to determine. And at that time, I think the House of Representatives was still controlled by the Republicans, right? Is that right? Or did they get sworn in on the first? I can't remember. Anyway, the whole plan was not certify an actual certified election. State certified election, not federally certify state certified elections. So that in itself is a coup attempt. And so I don't really understand why we're not pursuing that avenue of prosecution either. And again, if that's at the direction of Merrick Garland, please let's get him fired immediately. So there's that. Trump was supposed to have a press conference today, and he canceled it because Laura Ingraham told him to. She said that was a bad idea. But the vice president and president spoke this morning, and Joe Biden came out and said what he should have said a year ago. I mean, he couldn't have said it a year ago today, but whatever. To use a phrase that the media used to like during the 4 nightmare years of the Trump administration. Today is the day Joe Biden became president. He finally gave the speech and said the words that he should have been saying all along, and putting the blame, the onus on Trump, that Trump's fragile ego couldn't handle that he lost and he tried to cheat. I don't know if those words mean enough now, because the lie has been so pervasive and perpetuated so deep into the Republican Party, both its constituents and its representatives, that I don't know that that's going to help anything anymore. I hope what it does is set a tone for, we're not putting up with this shit, because that's the message that needs to go out. And so that it all needs to be followed up with prosecution and legislation. There was a moment in Biden's speech where he was talking about what did we see on January 6th, and then he said, what did we not see? And then started talking about Trump. What did we not see? Get it? I don't think it was intentional, but it was funny. And Kamala Harris brought up the voting rights bill. This is the day. Call your fucking senators. Call Chuck Schumer. Whether he's your senator or not, he's the majority leader. He is responsible to us all. Call Chuck Schumer's office. Let's see. What's the switchboard number? we can provide it here in a second. It's there it is. 202-224-3121. That will connect you to the Senate switchboard. 202-224-3121. Call your senators. They can break the filibuster and vote on voting rights, and they have the votes to pass just through the Democrats. So tell Schumer just to get his ass together and protect our fucking elections, so that the next attempt like this also doesn't happen. A huge bird just flew by. Oh dear. So, and the other thing that that Vice President Harris said in her speech, talking about, it's one of those days, where were you when? D-Day, September 11th, January 6th. And I was doing this. I had zipped through an episode of The View over lunch, because there are only 35 minutes of content on that hour-long program. And Megan had fucked up, and so it was, I think, my third video, because it was her third day back. And as I was recording it, the shit started to come on the TV about what was happening at the Capitol. So then the rest of the day was watching in horror. So thank you all for a year of this fun stuff. Yeah, that's about it. I call your senator. Call Chuck Schumer. 202-224-3121. Pressure them.